Hey guys, Icy Cat here. With the Rainbow is Magic event going on right now, we've seen something kind of new. Skins on drones and barricades. But is this something that's tied just to the event, or is it laying the groundwork for something yet to come? Let's talk about it next. So right now the Rainbow is Magic event is going on, and we are going to be spending some time talking about something that is in there that's sort of a new feature. You can see here we have a barricade with a new kind of graphic on it. This isn't the yellow X that we normally see on a barricade. This is a custom barricade decal on this that is just for this event. Likewise, we can see some customization on the drone here. This has this unique skin on it. And we do see some other things that have been reskinned. For instance, the hostage itself was actually reskinned to be in a bear suit. And so what I'm going to talk to you about today isn't so much whether or not this event has these things looking good, but rather the deeper concept that's behind it. Now, these special events can actually be used as a testing ground for future mechanics. And this is something that the dev team has said that they want to use these special events for, which is why in the Year 4 roadmap, they did say that they were going to be hosting one of these kinds of special events each season. It gives them the opportunity to try out some new and interesting things, while also at the same time providing a sort of fun thing for the community to do. Now, if you remember, we had the Road to SI playlist as our previous event, and that one was interesting because it introduced us to a couple of new mechanic changes in the game. And the first of those was that they allowed it to be a casual playlist, but it had some kind of ranked rules in it in that you could pick your spawn site even though it was casual. The bigger element that the Road to SI playlist foreshadowed, though, was the implementation of pick and ban. Pick and ban is, of course, something that has been around for quite a while in custom games only. Then they put it in the Road to SI playlist, and it has since been confirmed as something that is indeed coming in a future patch. So the special events can be used as sort of a testing ground or getting early feedback on a feature that they're going to implement, maybe allowing them to make some tweaks or adjustments based on what the community is saying in response to that, and just in general, trying out some new ideas. So when I look at the Rainbow is Magic event, I have to ask myself the same kind of question. Is this a test bed for something that could be coming? Now, obviously, we don't want to be seeing all of our maps turn into Saturday morning cartoons when all these bright neon colored characters all over the place. The deeper question becomes are they trying something here? Are they getting early community feedback? Are they monitoring the results from what's going on and seeing what's happening? And that's where we go back to these concepts. So we've got the drone reskin and the barricade reskin here as some really standout examples. These are changes that if were implemented into the larger game could have an impact on gameplay. We've been so used to seeing that yellow X on the barricades. What is the impact to gameplay if that changes? If you no longer have that reliable visual indicator, if it becomes modified in some way, is this disruptive to gameplay? Does this make it harder to tell if something has been pre-broken or if somebody's setting up a peak? This is information that they can gather during this event right now and see if it is impacting gameplay in any way. They can monitor the forums and the subreddit and various other areas where they can see what the community has to say about how that feels when they play it. Another area to look at is the drone reskin that's happening here. One of the biggest things that stands out to me about the drone is that it's the same color as most of the environment in the map. Pink is an extremely prevalent color in this map. It is all over the place, and they gave us an all pink drone. Now, yes, it is matching with the theme, but I think what they're testing out here is if they do wind up looking at something for drone skins down the road, is this something that's going to impact gameplay? And I think it makes sense for them to choose something like this where the map matches the drone very closely, because one of the things that you can get into with a drone especially is that you can get a skin for it if they do wind up doing a skin feature, and then you will have some skins that are very bright and obvious, and you may have other skins which would blend in more with the environment, and then the question becomes, do those skins become a pay-to-win feature? By testing this very pink drone with this very pink map and making it hard to see, they may well be gathering data on seeing, does a pay-to-win concept of a drone really impact gameplay, or is the concept more of a placebo where you might think it would, but still seeing those red lights and the motion of the drone and the scan tag result coming up on screen in text form still clue you into it enough that it doesn't affect gameplay all that much? Furthermore, what does the community think about it? Does that make them mad? Do they think think it's cool? What is the overall consensus? You can tell that this is something that they've always kind of wanted to do, but they've just never gone into. And an easy way to see the proof of that is to just go under your secondary gadgets. They all have this little locked icon on them for modification, and it's been there since the day the game launched. It's never been removed, but it's never had anything done with it either. And if you click on it, it tells you that customization isn't available for it right now. And so that's a really telling thing, that they wanted to do something with this and they just haven't yet. But they also haven't taken that out. So while yes, the Rainbow is Magic event is something fun for April Fools for sure, I think there's a really strong case to be made for the fact that they may be using this to gather information to see whether or not these kinds of changes will impact gameplay. And there is a strong motivating factor behind this: money. Weapon skins in the game are already something that is a driving force for spending money in the game after it's been released, keeping people coming back and spending money. That is huge. It keeps the company in business. It keeps the game relevant. Finding new ways to engage your players to spend money in your game, monetizing it, and continuing to keep the team profitable keeps a game like this viable years after its initial release. We're going on year 4 here of content, and they have plans to go all the way up to a year 10. How do you keep that business model viable and profitable to sustain that? Now, we've already got headgears and we've already got operator uniforms. So what is the next evolution? And I really do think that this is what they're exploring with this. So if you can put a cool skin on a drone or an interesting graphic on a barricade, that's something that people are probably going to be spending money on, generating revenue for Ubisoft, keeping the momentum on the game moving forward. You do have to remember that they are a business at the end of the day, and they have to maintain a level of profitability. They can't just give us a 10-year plan of a game and have no way to pay for that on the back end. So if you start introducing things where you can have a drone with racing stripes on it, or you have a drone that looks like a can of soda in a pile of debris if it's just sort of standing still and not moving, how appealing would this be to the community as a whole? And again, revisiting that concept of the pink drone on the pink background, having it really camouflaged in, does that pay-to-win kind of blending it into the environment concept, does that detrimentally affect the gameplay in a very real way? I have to actually give them hats off for kind of subtly testing this now before implementing it and then dealing with the damage that it might do later and being accused of a pay-to-win system without having first actually tried it out. Now also think about the retexturing of barricades. Here again, we could see another major force in driving new sales of microtransactions. Will they start doing things like having popular esports team logos on barricades? Could that even be expanded to have a system where other games allow you to design team decals to be placed on weapon skins or other features depending on what game you're talking about, and then making some kind of a team logo editor for yourself that you can then apply to your barricades? Now, if they wanted to do it this way, they could make it so that on the client side, it would always render as the black drone to the defensive team, but all the attackers would see that drone with its cool racing stripes or whatever might be on it. This would be a way to get around that pay-to-win kind of skin concept while still being able to display your drone and show it off to at least your team without it negatively impacting the play experience for the defensive team having that pay-to-win concept. Same thing with the barricades. You could put up the barricade and see that custom logo that you bought and put on there, and the rest of your team can see that as well, but maybe the attacking team still only sees those yellow X's. And remember that earlier example too, it doesn't have to be just limited to these things. That hostage got reskinned. What if you had skins that you could put on hostages? What if you could buy skins and retexture the terrorists when you play in Terrorist Hunt? Instead of being that same drab gray with the white masks, maybe they were wearing jeans and t-shirts with sunglasses instead, and you could buy like a pack of skins for the terrorists. You know, maybe there would be some kind of a skin you could put on a grenade and make it look like a lemon that you were throwing in, or have a smoke grenade look like a can of soup when you toss it in. You know, whatever it might be, whether it was a silly skin or a realistic skin, whether it was something very contrasty or something that blends in more with the environment, these kinds of microtransactions would set up the support for the game to continue going for years to come while still keeping the team profitable while making that content. Clearly, the intention has always been there because that modification feature has always been present since launch. It just hasn't had anything done with it yet. And this Rainbow is Magic event could be the first testing grounds to seeing what the community response is to that kind of a thing. But I want to know what you guys think. Is this something you'd like to see come to the game? If so, what kind of ideas do you have for skins that you might see on things? Let me know down in the comments below, and if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification icon so you're alerted as soon as I make new content available. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.